What is up, everyone? Welcome to my analysis of the top 5 quarterbacks in the upcoming NFL draft class. I'm Blaiden Kirk. Welcome to the FanDuel YouTube and Twitch, depending on where you're watching it. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I posted my top 5 quarterbacks in the upcoming NFL draft class. A lot of debate around who those guys are. But my top 5, number 1, Caleb Williams. Number 2, Drake May. Number 3, Jaden Daniels. Number 4, Bo Nix. Number 5, Michael Penix. And I've bounced around in that kind of 4 through 6, 4 through 7 area. Just because I do think there is a pretty big drop off after the first 2. And then I do think Daniels is better than the others, but I don't think by much. But yeah, that's kind of all we're going to talk about today. I kind of envisioned this just being almost like a fireside chat. You know, people ask questions, we talk, we have some fun, we just talk ball. You know, that's how it'll go. But I have some of the numbers pulled up. I have some of the tape pulled up, so we can kind of look at, whatever anyone wants. I have access to anything. But yeah, how's everyone doing today? It's a pretty, depending on where you are in the world right now, it could be a pretty nice place. In Ohio, it's kind of hit or miss. It feels like we bounce around between summer and winter. Every once in a while we have a 70-degree day. Every once in a while we have a 30-degree day. But today's not so bad. Today it's like mid to high 50s, and I got to go outside a little bit, just chill, sit in my yard. Doesn't get much better than that sometimes. Sometimes, keyword. But I think we could just start up with some of the top guys. My number 1 guy is, of course, Caleb Williams, and that seems to be kind of the consensus. I know there's some discussion around whether or not it's Drake May is number 1 or whether or not Jaden Daniels is number 1. I know a lot of people have their varying opinions on who the top quarterback is, but I think it's pretty clearly Caleb Williams. And when I think about why, I think there's kind of a handful of things that quarterbacks have to do in the NFL. I think they have to be able to avoid sacks consistently. I think they have to be, that mostly comes down to pocket presence and how you handle pressure. And I think they have to be able to hit difficult throws. That's really those are like the 2 main things where if you can do those, you look across the NFL and all the best quarterbacks all do those at a high level. Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, like all of these guys can hit throws with high levels of difficulty, and they can handle pressure well and avoid sacks. Obviously, some guys have better offensive lines than others. Not looking at anyone in particular, Cincinnati, but but it's definitely Caleb Williams. And if we wanted to just Caleb is a guy where I think you just kind of have to look at you have to look at the games a little bit, because it's very much an interesting watch, to say the least. If you haven't gotten a chance to just sit down and watch Caleb Williams, it's definitely worth taking a look at. But it's always interesting. I'm always a little thrown back by it, because the offense is just very weird. And if you're not ready for it, you're gonna be confused the whole time. Not even confused. Confused is the wrong word. It's just not gonna make a lot of sense. So I'm gonna transition over here. We'll take a look at some Caleb Williams. This is Caleb Williams versus Notre Dame. They run a lot of spread offense, obviously 2-by-2 look. You see some 2 high safeties, corners are off. And you'll notice kind of right away, they just run a lot of routes that, first of all, tend to just be, in this case, this is probably the most structured offense we'll see all day. Just kind of deep curls on the inside and hitches on the outside. That's probably the most structure we'll see. But in this play, the most jarring thing is the pressure. Immediately, his offensive line crumbles. He's got pressure from his right. He's got his line collapsing from his left. So he has to slide up, make the guy from the right miss, roll out to his right, nowhere to go with the football at this point. You could argue maybe he can hit this guy here, but I mean, there's someone sitting on top of that. So what is the difference in what he got a yard versus his guy maybe gets 2 or 3? Is that really moving the needle? Probably not. And you can see the end zone angle here, just kind of how the pressure forms. He's looking, to the left. That's where he wants to go. Feels the pressure on his left, knows he's not going to be able to deliver there. Wants to come back right, obviously. Can't just turn and throw because he's got pressure there. Makes him miss. And, there's just nothing to be found here, once he starts scrambling. But the moral of that play is, like, obviously you want a guy who can make those guys miss. And the key here is just how comfortable he looks when he does it. Where's the end? Yeah, here's the end zone angle again. Just look how calmly he slides up and evades. A lot of guys that you'll see in this class, they panic, their head like darts back and forth. And even if they can get away, they're not entirely sure what to do after. Caleb just doesn't have any options here. You can see he's still looking to throw. Jaden Daniels would have absolutely ran this up this lane right here, and he probably would have gotten a pretty good chunk of yards. But, if you're looking for, what's the word people use? Quarterbacky? Caleb is more in tune with looking down the field and making those throws. That's another very structured route set here. This ball is out before he even hits the top of his break. That's crazy. It's not that crazy. I'm dick riding. Let me shut up real quick. It's a really good throw. The timing on that is really nice. It's very rare to see from this USC offense, though. It's something that, I've noticed a lot, that they struggle with timing. They struggle with, structured offense. It does feel a lot like they're just going out there playing a lot of backyard ball. But this is very, very well timed, kind of back to back, trying to hit these hitches. But Caleb clearly saw something that he liked here. You got the corner opening his, or maybe not a corner, but the DB opening his hips. He knows his receiver's hitching up here. Good throw, good catch. Right. He's got a nice window. He's got a nice window, too, because of the stunt. And we'll probably see that in the end zone angle. Right. Sees the stunt. Actually, as soon as he stunts over, he lets this ball fly. It's just kind of a perfect medley of things that went right on that play. All right. Little RPO. Floats that one. This is a good play by the Notre Dame defense. Maybe you argue he should have just taken the sack here. Or maybe you argue the tight end should have kept running. Like, why does he stop? But he probably just expected to, catch this almost like a screen more than anything else. You can't hand this off here, right? You got 3 guys there. He holds it for as long. He, holds that pocket for as long as he can. You can't hand this off here. No chance. You could take a sack. What down and distance is it? It's 1st and 10. You could take a sack here. This is probably not Caleb's best rep ever. floats that one a little bit, but I thought the process was probably right. Make the tackle, Caleb. What's wrong with you? Actually, now he's QB4. Can't tackle? Not my quarterback. Let's see from the end zone here. Yeah, I mean, he's like, oh, I'm trying not to take a sack. Floats that one over the tight end. Picked off. I thought the process was fine there. It's an RPO. Made the right read. And at that point, you just have to throw it. I'm not going to be mad at that. Again, a lot of guys would hold on to that ball a lot longer. Some of them might get stripped. But that's just a good play by Notre Dame's defense. They got the ball back here. Once again, no one open. Routes are locked. Got a little bit of pressure up the middle. Lets it fly. Honestly, defense probably gets away with a pass interference here. There, okay, the flag comes out. Yeah, but I mean, clamped up here. Number 4 down here is clamped. Clamped up here, clamped here, clamped here, clamped here. I mean, no one is open at all. It's got pressure up the middle, but they do get the flag. So new set of downs now. There's Caleb. You like the running ability. Here it is. Right? Again, you know, people are going to be like, well, Jaden Daniels would have just burst through that hole. Probably. But, you know, Caleb's not trying to take these big hits that Daniels takes. Caleb is a fantastic athlete. He's just smart. He's not trying to get killed out there. So let's see what he's looking at. Yeah, it's just QB draw. It's kind of hard to tell where his head's at from this angle, but yeah, it looks like he's going to throw that screen there. Like a little bubble screen, and then he just takes off. Gets a few yards. Oh, did they like zoom in? More pressure on his right. Floats it back left. A bunch of receivers covered again. Maybe you think he could fit it in here or there. This would be a really crazy throw if he made that. Or maybe you think he should run it here. That would be that would be valid criticism that like Daniels would definitely run this. It's like, oh, just go. You can get the first down yourself pretty easily. He probably could. He probably could. Pocket presence, crazy. And there he goes running. That's what you want to see, right? Running is the last resort. And I mean, how many times have we seen now these receivers cannot get an ounce of separation out here? There's also a flag up there, maybe a hold of something. Is that even like what's going on? Was that a flag or did the coach drop something? Yeah, but you see he's got no one open, no one even close. clamped. And this is what I'm talking about with like horribly structured offense. They got two routes that are both heavily covered in the exact same spot. So even if like this guy wasn't like even if one of these guys was a little more open, they still wouldn't be that open because they're in the same spot. Like one guy could guard both of these players. So neither of them are open. He's not open. They've got routes. They got a route over here in the flat. That's not open. He's got two guys coming at him over here. Darts up, and he's like, finally, he decides he's going to run it. Looks like he gets the first. He just feels this really well, though. He does. Beautiful feel. There they go. Finally, they get an open route. This is what they've got over here. What kind of route? He's got kind of like a sluggo, and then he like bends it really far out. He like trips up the DBs there. Jesus, man. They're making the hip drop illegal. They need to make this illegal. Is that targeting? Could that be considered targeting? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, they finally get an open guy here. He wins at the top. Caleb finds him. They clear out. It's man coverage. They clear out the middle of the field. Caleb finds his guy. Good throw, good catch. They finally get an open receiver. Just a little quick action here. Poop. Nothing fancy. Nothing too exciting there. Ooh, nice catch. Nice catch. He just kind of lets this fly right away. Wow, that is a really nice catch. Number 15. Yeah, I mean, not a super open throw, but give your guy a chance there. They might get him for offensive pass interference here, honestly. I think they did. Another penalty. What's that, the fourth one this game? Now they're back to the 15. Just another quick throw into the flats. He almost got killed. And now you see the issue, right? It's like they really don't give Caleb like ball out opportunities in this offense, because no one gets open when they run real routes. And then, I mean, you could ask him to run every single play, but like, why? He's just going to get hurt. There we go. Open receiver. That's a good concept. Right. And really, this is a really good read, quick read by Caleb, right? See the corner blitz, and all you're doing when you see that blitzer is you're just replacing it with the ball. So as soon as his guy was settled, he was throwing that, right? Because you could have probably found, I don't even know if you could have found something else. Maybe you could have found number 2 behind, but I think as soon as he saw that blitz, he was letting it fly, right? That linebacker has a pretty good distance to get out there. Yeah, as soon as the corner blitz came, he was replacing. That's pretty easy. Just kind of option stuff. They might have got him for a legal man downfield here. Maybe. We'll see. Taking a shot here. He hung on, but he got squeezed so far to the sideline that he never really had a chance. This is why Theo says it all the time. Deep ball accuracy is a wide receiver stat. This is why he says that. Because if this receiver, look where he starts this route. Look where he starts. Like, I get it's a fade route, but he's top of the numbers basically, right? Top, maybe middle of the numbers, but he's at the numbers. That means he's got a solid 10 yards to the sideline. And he eats up 8 of it just trying to stack this corner. So, I mean, he never really gave himself a shot for this play to really be catchable. Caleb gave him a good shot, though. It's not a bad throw. He also got hit. Rare under center play for this USC offense. Breaks a tackle and gets out of bounds. RPO look. Heck of a throw. This is high difficulty throw stuff that I'm talking about with Caleb. Because look how he releases this ball. Sidearm into a window that really doesn't exist. But he has to throw it that way because he's got guys in his face. Right? And he's just trying to whip it between them. I don't even think the receiver should have caught this. This window does not exist. Right? He's got guys in his face. There's a guy over top. He's got, what, 2 guys in front of him? This corner rotating back. Let's see if we can get or like a linebacker rotating back. There really isn't a window to make this throw because it has to be out instantly. The throw has to be out instantly. It's an RPO, right? The throw has to be out instantly. Got to catch that. You want to see Caleb athleticism. This is the thing. If you like Daniels, man, Caleb does all the same things, except he's smarter and he actually throws over the middle. Like smarter, better arm, higher difficulty level of throws. This comes back for a penalty, it looks like, but I'm just saying, if you're enamored by the athleticism that Jaden Daniels offers, Caleb's is every bit as good. And I think that's pretty clear and obvious. Another drop. Right? So what have we learned? I mean, we've got how many plays now where Caleb Williams is throwing and he's got guys that aren't open or that are dropping passes, or he'll throw it into a contested window. Like they hit that fade route earlier, or they were trying to hit that fade route earlier, and the receiver ate up all of his sideline space. Right? Again, look where he starts. He starts right here at the numbers. He's got 10 yards to the sideline. He eats up 8 yards of it right away. It's just like an impossible, like unless you're throwing to Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze, no receiver's making this play. So that's really all that comes down to. I think Caleb Williams is pretty easy. Kevin, welcome. Good to see you, man. I think Caleb is pretty easy quarterback 1. I think the pocket presence is elite. I think he's just as good of an athlete as Daniels, though Daniels might be a more aggressive runner, right? And that's kind of what makes him so dangerous, is that he's willing to sacrifice his body for the play. But it's risky, and he doesn't throw over the middle. Caleb does. I like, if you love Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams is every bit as good as Jaden Daniels, on top of he's smarter and throws over the middle. We will also take a look at Drake May, because that's the thing, is like, well, Daniels is a better athlete than May. He is. That's about all. We will watch. I'm trying to find which game I want. Might do Clemson. It's actually interesting, because in my top 5 I have Bo Nix, and I have, who's at my front door? No one. I got a notification that someone was at my front door, but it was nothing. But here's the interesting thing. I have Bo Nix and Michael Penix above J.J. McCarthy in my top 5. And they're actually the only 2 guys in this class that have a pretty good pressure to sack rate, something under 10%. But again, we watched Caleb Williams, and you see like how infrequently his receivers get open, the pressure that he faces. It's really tough for him out there, especially with some of the RPO stuff they do. A lot of times when he's releasing that ball, he doesn't have a choice but to have a guy in his face. It's just like the way this offense is ran. It's a very bizarre offense. I've never been a fan of it, like, all year. It's just very concerning that they put Caleb Williams in such a difficult position every single game. It feels like the exact opposite of the type of offense that you would want your quarterback to be in. But I legitimately think his job will get easier when he goes to Chicago. Kevin, you're scared for the Commanders making the wrong decision. They most likely will. Well, let's talk about Drake May, because I think that's who they should take. I think Caleb Williams will be gone. He almost certainly will. I think they should take Drake May. There's rumors of Jaden Daniels, but I'm a big fan of May. I think his pocket presence is very cool, calm, collected. Some people have concerns with his accuracy, and I get if you're enamored with the athleticism of Daniels. May is very athletic, maybe not to the extent that Daniels is, but May is very athletic. He's got a really big arm. He reads the field pretty well. Look how quickly he gets to this. And then, his pocket presence is very clean. You won't see it on this play, but I mean, that's a pretty accurate throw, right? He's got a guy in his passing lane right here. He's able to fire over him and still hit his guy in stride. That's a well-timed, very accurate throw. It's not that he's incapable of it at all. This is where you'll see the lack of accuracy right here. But I think part of this is mostly, it's mostly a bad route. Like, I'm imagining that he wants to run an in route, like a dig, because this almost felt like dagger for a second, but it also kind of feels like a curl, and he's getting crushed with hands on here. And maybe you say he should have just thrown it somewhere else, but he's got a guy coming on his right side. Like, yeah, maybe not the most accurate throw, but he also the receiver does a terrible job of separating here throughout his route. All of them do. And this is the thing. This is the thing that, like, Caleb Williams and Drake May played with by far the worst supporting cast of any of the guys that we're talking about, right? McCarthy, Nix, Penix, Daniels, all of those guys played with potentially first-round pick weapons. You're just not quite seeing that, right? You're seeing a bunch of receivers that can't get open. You're seeing offensive lines that are allowing a lot of pressure. He kind of got crushed there, but he's a big guy, so he just kind of eats it. I don't know if it's in this game where you see some really nice pocket maneuvering. This is a good one here. And again, just like guys that aren't really getting open. Corner, like slot guy here might have gotten away with some holding. He might have gotten away. Was that 36? You might have gotten away with that one, man. You might have, because he kind of had you a little bit. Yeah, but there just isn't a lot of separation with these receivers. Outside guy is getting absolutely manhandled at the line of scrimmage. Just absolutely disrespected. May has pressure on his right, but he's able to get, 5 yards there? Right? He's just trying to find like a passing window at this point, right? Everything's congested up in the middle, so he's like, okay, let me slide right a little bit. Number 3 leaks around. He's like, okay, let me jump back left. Keeps his eyes downfield, and then he's finally like, okay, I guess I just gotta get something out of this. I wouldn't even say that I would consider May a pocket passer per se. He is a dual threat guy. I just think he has better pocket presence than Daniels. That's an accurate deep ball. Where does this? So this is a better route by the receiver. He's lined up only probably 5 or 6 yards from the sideline. He gets a little close, but he has enough separation to where he's able to bend it back inside. This is a good ball by May. Just steps up, lets it fly. Not even really a drop. How many steps does he take? Was that 1, 2? Step up, let it fly. That's pretty effortless. That's pretty effortless arm talent there. What's that go? 40? That's an effortless 40. If I threw that I'd have to heave. He made that look easy. They didn't even try to really sell that play action. Maybe not the most accurate ball. It's hard to tell with the glare where that landed. But it looks like it landed at the receiver's feet. But again, not the sexiest route in the world. And this is a sail route, and he's really letting this like fade away. I mean, if he breaks down and like makes this cut hard here, he's got a couple yards of separation, but he rounds this so far into the DB. Like I really don't know how much I can blame May. Does that hit him in the hands? Bro, I thought that might have fallen short at first, but I think that might have hit him in the hands anyway. Drake May's arm strength is very top tier. Him and Williams have very, very impressive arms. But I don't think that alone is what's putting him into these conversations. I think it's that combined with his athleticism, combined with his pocket presence. At least that's what it is for me. I won't speak for everyone else. I could check the I have PFF up for like stats and stuff, but I could pull up their big board and see what they say about him. Light on his feet, flick of the wrist, speed, out of structure accuracy, middle of the field passer. So I don't know. I think this one is pretty big. Because that's something Daniels just doesn't do. Like throwing over the middle of the field. It's just like it's a little thing, but it's important. When you have quarterbacks, as a quarterback, you cannot in the NFL as a quarterback, you cannot have areas on the field where you can't throw. Right? This is why I don't put Daniels or McCarthy into the same conversation as the top two guys. And McCarthy's is especially bad because he can't hit, like he struggles to hit throws outside the numbers. And that's inexcusable. We'll watch a game for McCarthy too if we have time. And you'll see, he'll just sail on an out, or he won't sail on it. He'll underthrow an out route, like quick outs, like 5-yard outs. Got to hit those. Those need to be routine. Then you have a guy like Daniels who refuses to throw over the middle. There's a game I think against Alabama where he breaks off a long run, but he could have had, I think it was Neighbors over the middle, and he just doesn't hit him. And personally, I would rather you let Neighbors take that than yourself. It's just more Daniels, or not more Daniel, more Drake May here. Pretty easy throw, wide open. Does he bobble that? Please tell me he doesn't bobble that. Does he bobble this? He bobbles it. Just a touch, man. Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite Drake May clip. I love this. This is my favorite Drake May clip. We're actually going to skip ahead. So this is a touchdown. But he's got an unblocked rusher coming from his left, and he's just going to drift. And then off his back foot. Disgusting. What's that? 40 yards off his back foot? Yeah, man. Uncorked. Just so filthy. He's got a guy in his face, a guy coming on his left. And this is where I'm talking about like the feel, right? This is a play where I think you'll see guys like McCarthy panic a little bit. I think Daniels could make this play. I don't know if he would tuck and run, but there's a play I know that McCarthy has had where he's had a very similar instance where a guy has come free off the edge and he kind of panics, drops his eyes a little bit. He starts to get a little bit of happy feet. Drake May, very calm, very composed, and just lets it fly. Very patient. That's what I love to see. He'll let it fly again here. I can't. Not an open guy, but is anyone open really at the time that he's throwing this ball? Maybe the tight end, but not really. I don't know. I don't hate the idea of just like letting a throw go here. Wish his receivers would separate a little bit more. Yeah, here's a just quick throw. Got all this space here. Right, and unless this slot guy is going to really break on this quickly, which he doesn't, you're hitting that. You're hitting that right away. And that's exactly what he does. Just catch, throw. Pretty easy stuff. What happened here? Did this get tipped? Yeah, it did. The only concern with May that I really have, like my only big concern, is his release is kind of slow. And I don't know if we'll see it here necessarily, but there is a play, I think, in this game where you'll really get to see that impact him. Calm. Doesn't quite get the first down, but here's... You can see he's not slow, man. Like, he can move a little bit if you... He can definitely move if you need him to. There's just more of that smooth pocket presence. Changing stuff at the line here. Got a stunt on the right side by 13. Kind of wins. Number 7. Pretty much handles this guard. Makes both of them miss. And again, he's not like... The thing that you don't like to see is when these guys like buckle their knees, head starts darting back and forth. Right? He's just like, plant go. Right? Plant go. Right? He plants that right foot and he's off. Right? And he's still looking to throw. No one's open. His receivers are blocking for him at that point. So he's just like, all right, let me go. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this... what is this skirmish going on up here? What is this? And Clemson guy wants a penalty. Honestly, he probably deserves it. I don't know how the ref doesn't see this. He's like, pop. They almost cost him that play. Oh my God, if someone doesn't get open. Okay. Oh, this is it. Okay. We'll get close here. So he wants to hit this throw right here. Right? This is what he's looking for. Which he has enough room, right? Because the DB's kind of on his back shoulder at this point. If you throw it right here, he can probably catch this pretty easily. We'll get to the end zone angle though. So this is what we're talking about with his release is kind of slow. Because he wants to throw over the middle here. But, see, that guy jumps, blocks his window, so he pulls it back down, but he isn't quite able to get it back up in time, and it gets batted out of his hand. It's incomplete, so it's not a huge deal. But if he was just a tick faster with being able to, like, boom, boom. You see new NFL tackle ban? Oh, bro. That shit is so crazy. I can't believe they banned that, especially regardless of your opinion on the actual hip drop tackle, the players didn't want it to get banned. If the NFLPA is like, yeah, no, we would prefer that you keep this allowed. It is in the players. The players have decided that it is in their best interest. And again, these aren't like high school, college kids. These are grown men. They're like wife and kids, grown men. They're like, we have decided that this is what is best for the players. And the owners say, no. What? Like that's so crazy. That is so crazy. The fact that the owners went so against the players' wishes there, unanimously too. That's really what's insane to me. And I get they're trying to like prevent injuries, but tackling from behind, it's hard. It's hard to go and tackle someone from behind without what's the classification they gave? You have to hold on, hip drop. I misspelled hip. Hip drop tackle. I'm trying to see. There was where they listed the qualifications for something to get I can't find it. That's gonna be annoying, but it's going to be harder. Like without being able to like unweight someone, it's gonna be harder to tackle someone from behind. Not impossible, definitely not impossible, but you're gonna see probably a lot of tight end execution, a lot of slot execution this year, just to try and exploit that as much as they can. I think it's a very lame play by the owners. Again, not even from the perspective of, well, how are they supposed to tackle? It's from the perspective of it is against the player's wishes. I think that's very lame. Let's see. I think I've covered kind of everything that I've wanted to from Drake May. I think we've seen just kind of all I needed to see. Like you've seen him miss a couple of throws, but again, a lot of these routes aren't particularly open. You've also seen his pocket presence be very nice. High difficulty throws. Slow release. And it's just because he winds. It's just because he winds it so far back. And it's like, it's not that slow, but it's a tick slow. And it's just because he comes back so far. Right? If you watch like Rodgers, right? Rodgers doesn't pull the ball this far back. Right? Rodgers is like pushing the ball, just like bloop, bloop. But he's got effortless arm strength, so I'm not gonna sit here and bash it. That's got to be a catch. That's a good throw. He got hit, but you got to hold on to that. Have to. Who do I want to look at next? My next guy would be, we'll look at Daniels. Where is the Daniels tape? There it is. Jaden Daniels. Should we watch Arizona State Jaden Daniels? I want to watch the Bama game. I think that's I think that shows the best collection of good and bad is Jaden Daniels versus Bama, and you'll see probably all of it in like the first 15 plays. Look how okay. This is exactly what I was talking about. Okay, he takes the snap here. He's got pressure on his left, pressure up the middle. Makes the miss. Awesome. You've got a receiver here that's about to be wide open. If this were Drake May or Caleb Williams, they would hit that guy. They would absolutely hit that guy. Daniels tucks and runs, gets a few yards. But Drake May and Caleb Williams would absolutely try and hit that receiver breaking behind. And in the short amount of tape that we watched from May and Williams, they did not ever have receivers that wide open. Not one time. And on the first play, Daniels has a receiver crossing his face. And really, he could have hit this throw right now. If his eyes were up, but his eyes drop as soon as he starts to feel this pressure, and he's like, all right, I'm running. Even though he's got a guy right there, and he's got another guy right there, and he's not past the line of scrimmage yet. I'm like Caleb Williams and Drake May, they are super athletic, very capable runners. I think Caleb, if he wanted to, could be just as he could be putting up just as many big time run plays as Daniels does. The difference is he keeps his eyes up and he's trying to throw it most of the time. But, Daniels does make some good throws too. That's a very catchable ball. Right? DB has outside leverage. He puts this inside. That's a good throw. Needs to be caught. Just a little check down. Here we go. Deep ball. Look how open he is, man. He's got a really great deep ball too. Not quite as effortless as May or Williams, but still very, very good. And then Neighbors tracks this really well. I can't quite tell how. That probably could be caught. That's really good defense, though. That's really good defense. That's just kind of 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. Step up, let it go. Yeah. The thing that I'm not really worried about guys like being able to read the full field. I think that's an overstated necessity when it comes to quarterbacks coming out of college. Like, they didn't have Cam Newton reading the full field. I'm just not really worried about it. I'm worried about, like, can you handle pressure? Like, what are you doing when things break down? Can you hit all levels of the field? Can you make every throw on the field? That's really the stuff that concerns me mostly. This will be a great run. He's going to get clobbered, though. He's going to almost get clobbered, and he decides to sit down. Yeah, he's like, actually, I value my life. He is a very explosive runner. This is a play that I always criticize him for coming up. I legitimately think the best comparison for Jaden Daniels could be Lamar. He could be. But I think more than likely he's Fields. And I think you look at like what separates Lamar from Fields is Lamar's better pocket presence. Lamar hits the weird arm angles that Fields doesn't. Like, Fields has a good deep ball. Fields is a great runner. I think Daniels could come in and have a Fields-esque rookie year. They could be the best rushing offense. Whoever takes him, they could have the best rushing offense in football. But we might get to like 2-3 years from now and be like, man, did he really improve much? And it's not even going to be a matter of like, did he improve? It's going to be a matter of like, he could never do those things, and you shouldn't draft guys based on what they can't do or what they could learn, but more like what they can do. This is a throw. I always feel like Jaden Daniels read this wrong. This guy's fading. This guy's going this way. You've got leverage here, right? He's got upfield leverage. The safety is so far back. There's 10 yards of separation here, and he's still running vertical. right? I've always felt like this throw that he has not released yet, by the way. Like, he still has time to make up his mind. This throw should have always gone here. And instead he gives a very risky throw. He still hasn't released this. He's starting to. But to me, this is the open look. I get what he sees here. That, oh, his hips are open this way. Maybe I can lead him and get a touchdown here. But this just feels like the more open look. To me. Like, man, he's so open. And he's so obviously open. He also, if you were going for that touchdown play, I would think you would want to lead him a little bit more. That's where I think, like, Caleb would have put that shit in the end zone. Drake May would have put that shit in the end zone. He's got a good arm. Really good arm. But, you know, he's not quite effortless arm strength. I don't know. Maybe it's a nitpick. I get what he saw there, but I really do get what he saw here. Like, at this point, you're like, oh, he's got leverage. He's like, bro, so does he. And I think this one's easier. I think this is like the easier, smarter play. And so maybe it's a nitpick, because again, I do get what he saw here. And I just said I don't want to judge too harshly on, like, reading the field. But I thought that was a fairly easy decision-making flaw to point out. Yeah, I mean, this isn't really on him. This is just like quick throw, not open. They were trying to pick up 4th and short. Yeah, 4th and inches. And Bama makes a great play defensively. All right. I think he gets crushed on this play. Maybe. No. Okay. One of the rare times he dips out of bounds. You'll see him get clobbered in this game sooner or later. I don't hate him tucking this, but again, this is some of the best coverage we'll see against LSU, and Caleb Williams never had a guy this open in the game we watched him play. Like, they never had this much separation. It's crazy. Same with UNC against Clemson with Drake May. But he does a good job evading. Like, in terms of, like, getting away from the pressure, great job. You know, making the play. You know, picks up a big chunk of almost 30 yards. Over 30 yards. Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic play. No doubt. All day to throw, man. Oh my God. This is the ridiculous thing, man. All right. We've got all day to throw. You've got options if you are able to anticipate. You have options here. If you anticipate this throw, Neighbors is going to be open. Right? He doesn't. If you anticipate the throw, Brian Thomas Jr., he's one-on-one. Great deep ball contested catch guy. Give him a shot here. Again, Caleb never had options this easy. Like, not even remotely. Not even remotely this easy. Drake May never has options this easy. And he still ends up finding Neighbors. But, like, it's very late in the down. And Neighbors is open multiple times well before this ball actually comes out. And, like, so I'm looking at the times where this ball could have come out. Drop. Now. And now. Both times to Neighbors, and the second time also to Brian Thomas Jr. You've got the arm. Like, He's got all day to throw, man. So much time. Center finally loses, but like he had all freaking day, and they completed it. But I don't think that's a very impressive play by Daniels there. This is a bad throw. Again, all types of time. Throws it behind. Actually, I will give him some credit here. I think he anticipated 11. I think that's 11. Brian Thomas Jr., I think he anticipated him to settle, to like sit right here, right? Instead, he kept like shuffling. And I think that was a miscommunication. I don't know if I'll give him a knock so much on that throw. I've seen Drake May and Caleb Williams make worse throws. This is happy feet. I do not. You're bouncing a lot, shuffling a lot. No one's super open. You got a guy here you could hit. You got a guy in the flats you could hit. Looks like Thomas Jr. again. Is that 11 or is that 1? I can't quite tell. I think that's Brian Thomas Jr. again. Looks like he's going to be open here. And instead, he gets crushed on this play. Shuffling. This is a play where I would almost like you to. This is a play that Lamar Jackson would make. Right? This is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has made this play. Actually, not quite this exact throw. It would be hard going to your, like, throwing it across to your left. But I'm going to pull it up, actually. YouTube. Lamar Jackson jump pass. It's against Kansas City. There we go. Lamar Jackson has literally made this play, right? Slides up in the pocket. He's got guys in his face, and he jumps over them to make the throw, given the throw is wide open. But that is a throw that is difficult to make. That, you have a guy here, you have a guy here. They're not impossible throws to make. But when Daniels is under pressure, it feels like he just doesn't keep his eyes downfield. Because he has options. He has better options than Caleb Williams and Drake May has had. And that's my biggest concern. I don't think he handles pressure particularly well. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's a really good athlete. That's a good throw. Wide open, but good throw. Right? Because it's quick, right? There's no hesitation, really. He sees it and he lets it rip. It's a good play. But when things break down, when he's under pressure, he wants to run. I get it. It's just sometimes you got to be a little bit smarter. That's a quick throw. Good job there. I think I've covered most of it. This is a good one. That's a pretty good throw under pressure. But yeah, that's kind of my synopsis on Jayden Daniels. I just don't think he handles pressure particularly well. Because his instinct is always run. And that's not, like, he's good at it. He's really good at it. But when you have guys that are open, and especially because I talk about Drake May and Caleb Williams, their jobs are probably going to get easier when they go to the NFL, right? If they go to Chicago and Washington, is the level of offensive line going to get worse? Probably not. The receivers are absolutely only going to get better. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet for the Bears, and then you got Terry McLaurin in Washington. Like they are definitely going to be in better situations than they were in college. Jayden Daniels might not be in a better situation unless he goes to like Minnesota. That's the only way I could think because he'd be thrown to Jefferson, right? But if he goes to the Patriots, worse situation. He goes to, I'm trying to think about the Giants. That's a worse situation. Like, it's concerning that he's making these mistakes with this kind of talent around him. He's not going to have this kind of open window. He's not going to have these big open windows to relax and potentially miss on. He's not going to have all this time to throw. We'll take another quick look at someone else. I want to look at McCarthy because I know people like him. What game? Oh man, that's the thing. Michigan played some really great teams. I could do Bama. I could do Ohio State. I could do Penn State. Bama's probably the best defense. Oh, unless did they play Iowa this year? Did they play Iowa this year? They did not. Okay. I knew they played them last year. I couldn't remember if they played them this year. All right. Oh God, this quality is pixelated. Oh man, this might not be watchable. Oh my God. We'll skip ahead and see. Okay, so it gets a little bit better here. This is just like unwatchable. Yeah, first play is a pick, by the way. Or almost a pick. His foot was out of bounds. I remember that. They ruled it a pick on the field, and then I think they overturned it. Yeah, I mean it's just a immediate boot action, right? So what concept are they running here? It looks like it might be some variation of flood. Something similar. Anyway, let's hope the next clip is less pixelated. Okay, so it's just the first clip. JJ has 2 sub 3,000 years. You know, I don't want to just I don't want to just sit and like bash on all the quarterbacks because like there's a world where McCarthy could be good. I know Brett Coleman was tweeting about how he went back and he rewatched some of McCarthy last year compared to this game and then compared to his pro day. And he feels like McCarthy is going through like a retool with his mechanics, which would be good because his mechanics aren't particularly great. And I think it's partially why he struggles to hit throws outside the numbers. And if he can go to a really good situation, maybe he could see some success. I just don't know who's going to take that shot. Like who's gonna be the team in a good situation that's gonna be like, yeah, man, McCarthy's our guy. Like a team in a good situation that needs a quarterback. Who's doing that? I don't know. That doesn't need other position. Like little screen. That throw on some zip on it though. Let's see. Yeah, a little calling their plays at the line here. I don't want to call it before I'm seeing this, but okay, because yeah, he starts out looking to his left. Oh, if you had just stuck to your left, I get why he came off of it because he got no. I don't. You should have stuck on your left. I think. Because man, he was open. Because I'm like, this ball was late, but he starts on his left and works back to his right. But I would have just stuck left. I feel like you came off the left really early. And your guy won. Let me see the end zone angle because maybe there was a guy in his throwing lane. Doesn't look like it. It's not a super. That's kind of nitpicky. I don't want to bash on it too much. Had guys there, got batted. That had some zip on it too. Just quick throw into the flat. Oh, what a block. McCarthy's got some moves too. He can run a little bit. Look at this block by 20. Bang. He's not even going full speed until the ball is snapped. It's not like it's a really fast motion and he just comes peeling off. Like he's just trotting, and bang. That's a great block. That's a really good throw. This is a pretty good play. This honestly might be a better play than Daniels has made if I'm being completely honest with you. Yeah, it avoids the pressure here. So I'm trying to see what throw he wanted initially. Right, so he's looking to his left. He pumps at this point. And he wants... Okay, I think he was just trying to hit this throw in the flat. And it's not really there. And he's got a guy coming off the left side. So he's like, okay, let me just buy myself a little bit more time. And then his guy gets wide open. I don't know what happened to that Bama DB. That might not even have been a DB. Was that Dallas Turner? Yeah, man, that is not... That's probably not the guy you want in coverage there. Oh, no, it wasn't Turner. Regardless, not a great looking coverage. Because they had it clamped. They had everything locked up tight, and then he fell down. But good job by McCarthy creating time and then finding his guy. Oh, man. This is a really well-designed play. 32's trying to pass this off. I don't know what exactly he's doing, though. So... Yeah, this feels just so confused by Alabama because everyone comes inside, but no one's actually trading off, right? These crossing routes need to be passed off, right? Right, we've got 3 guys coming from the left to the right, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in this area guarding 3 guys. That can't happen. If you're outside, you pass off those guys quickly, make sure no one's coming back. Crossing, you got 2 guys wide open, man. Really well-designed play by Michigan, but terrible coverage there. That's a tight throw. Yeah, this is much better than what we saw against Ohio State, I think, or even Penn State. Tucks this one. Probably could have thrown this, but this might just be a QB draw. I don't think it is. Because normally you see a QB draw, it's like he would have tucked that a little bit sooner. But the way he tucks it, it makes me think draw. Or maybe it was a single option RPO. You either run it or throw it. Tight throw. Get it out quick, man. You got one-on-one there. Your guy gets a little bit of space. Let it fly. If he holds on to this a tick longer, he probably gets crushed. Oh, my God. The receiver got crushed. Phew. Is that Kool-Aid, man? Kool-Aid, put him down. Where does this ball go? Again, that glare, the sun makes it hard to see where that ball is going. Does he dabble in big-time throws? We'll see. Sails this one. So, all right. So this is overcompensating, and you can see it. A lot of these throws, he's been really tight. His form has been really tight, which has been good. We saw him hit an out route earlier on this drive where he just popped, locked, let it rip. This one, really, really big extension here. Really opens up his form, and he sails this. He's trying to compensate for the depth of this throw. He can put some zip on it for sure, but that he was trying to deep out. He's just trying to hit it. Can't blame him. I mean, just overcompensates a little bit trying to make that throw happen. This is that's what I was like, is this a bad read or? I don't necessarily think so. That's probably a fine read. I just saw up here from this angle, he kind of looked open. But no, okay, he was just blocking the guy. Yeah, I mean, that was probably a fine decision. They've really done a good job. Michigan's offense has really done a good job of negating a lot of the pressure looks that Bama's trying to send at them. This is just a 4-man rush, so it's nothing crazy. But look at how they sell this kind of, I don't even know if I'd call it a triple option, but they've got, their motion man, kind of that yo-yo motion, and they sell this pitch with like a lead blocker and a pulling guard, just freezes the defender for a tick, and it opens up a throwing lane right here. Ref, look out! Really, really good design to create easy looks. This is the craziest McCarthy play you'll ever see. It is. It's absolutely bonkers. I remember watching this play live. Now, this was crazy. This was crazy, man. I can't believe this happened. Because Bama had that shit sniffed out so bad. And if Kool-Aid just stays with the receiver instead of coming up to play McCarthy, what could have been? But it's that's a heck of a throw. He just catches it one-handed and just like, go get it, buddy. And he got it. Is that Roman Wilson too? Man. Yeah. Man, Bama's defense is getting cooked. They're just getting their matchups right. Michigan came into this game prepared. I said, yeah, we're going to get our matchups. It's going to be great. And it was, man. This is glorious. I'm a Buckeyes fan, though, so this hurts. 13-10. We'll go till 7:30. So he's escaping here, trying to find... Does he keep his feet in? Hard to tell. You got guys, though. I don't know if he had to bail. I don't know if he had to bail so early. Maybe I'm trying to see if they... Okay, 32 coming around the edge. That is a crazy stunt. He went all the way around, and he forced McCarthy right. And it made it hard for him to hit his crosser here, and he forced him wide, too. Right. I'm just trying to see if there was room for him to step up. Not really. Whoever 92 is forced that pocket to really fold in on itself. Yeah, this is... Michigan's done a pretty good job so far of negating this pass rush, but this time they made it tough on him. They made it tough on him. Yeah, and he does not catch that. Did they give it to him? No way. Are you... What? I'm thinking there's no way, but it looks like he got it. Yeah, another good matchup here. Because they take advantage of the fact that Bama will trade off guys in motion, right? And it's like, well, I just take the most outside guy, you take the most inside guy, safety takes vertical, right? And they end up creating a mismatch here. Whoop. This is a little high. You probably want to put this low and away. That's a risky throw. And you also had guys coming back the other way. So you didn't really have to force that throw. This is a pretty decent game by McCarthy, though I will say I think a lot of it has been Michigan's offense. Yeah, had a really good game plan. You see, he just doesn't quite feel this pressure the same way that May does. May feels everything so effortlessly. Caleb Williams feels things pretty effortlessly. Even Daniels, I think, would feel this. Whether or not he makes the right decision to like find a guy, an open guy to throw to, you know, we can have a discussion about that. But yeah, he just doesn't quite feel this stuff the same way. Right. This is where I think like Drake May slides a little bit to the left, right, and then he tries to come back right. Or he slides to the left, and he's able to make the throw anyway because he's got effortless arm talent. Gab! What's good, Gab? We're wrapping up here. Give me 3 minutes, and then you can have the floor. We're watching a little JJ. Yeah, now the pass rush is starting to get home a little bit. You can see McCarthy's not really getting through his full set of reads anymore. He's just kind of eyeballing, he's like, well, I guess now I'm just going here no matter what. Right? He probably had a better opportunity left. But he forces himself right with the pressure here. Which, like, I get it. They have Turner coming off the left. So it's hard. But, like, again, if you're able to hang in there a little bit longer, or heaven forbid you have to step up, but maybe you can. It's not a bad play. He finds the guy, and it's just incomplete. It has not been a bad game by McCarthy by any stretch. Again, they create some miscommunications, create some mismatches. It's a wide open look. They've done a good job of that kind of stuff all game. Lots of misdirection. Just creating mismatches, creating miscommunications on the defense. That's something that's really given Bama trouble. They mess up the flea flicker here. Quick throw. Just trying to get some yards back. You see what they're trying to do here. They did this early on, too. But they were ready for it this time. Bama was ready for it. They weren't going to fall for this easy misdirection again. Fair enough. And this is, I think, ultimately what people become enamored with J.J. McCarthy, is they see the way Michigan's offense operates, and they're like, man, they gave them some really easy, effortless looks. And it's like the offense is just so fun, and there's so many moving parts, and wow, look at you see the fun back foot throw that McCarthy made when he caught that pass one-handed. But I think ultimately Michigan's offense creates a lot of easy opportunities for its players, lots of misdirection. And like even on this option play, right? It's a good job by McCarthy reading it, keeping it. But I mean, the offensive line leading the way, right? Great blocking. And you've got multiple guys just frozen by the mesh point. And McCarthy is basically untouched all the way to getting that first down. He's almost sails this pass. This is the other thing I keep seeing, and I'll wrap things up here because I know we're getting short on time. But the other thing that I keep noticing, whenever he has to deliver a pass down the field, he really unloads it, right? We talk about the effortless deep ball that Daniels has a good deep ball, but the effortless deep ball that May and Williams have is not present with McCarthy. McCarthy has to unload. When he's making these short, quick throws, he's real tight with his form. And then whenever he has to unload it deep, he really opens up. And a lot of times he overcompensates a little bit. And this one's high. It's caught, but it's a high pass. We saw him overthrow a sail route earlier because of that same throwing motion, right? You'll see it here. It's just a big wide throwing motion and good catch there. And then they score here, and that's the game. So yeah, I mean, if JJ stays at an efficient 23-3 interception ratio, isn't that what teams want? I guess. But again, how many teams run an offense that's that efficient? And how many teams are going to give him, enough weapons to make that work. Again, I think every single quarterback, I think Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, they're all going to be going to worse situations in the NFL, almost certainly, unless one of them ends up in Minnesota. That's the only way I could see them being in a situation that is equal or better to what they were in college, except for Caleb Williams and Drake May. Maybe Spencer Rattler too. Rattler might be the other guy where he could go to the NFL and be upgraded as far as the situation that he's in. But I also don't think he would start year one. And I think that plays a big part. Like the fact that these guys are going to go on to be in situations that are substantially, even not even substantially, even marginally worse than what they were in college. And they're still making a lot of these mistakes. They're going to have a hard time overcoming it because they didn't really have to in college. And so that's the thing that concerns me the most. I'm not super enamored with the pro day stuff. I thought this was the Bama game is probably the best game I've seen from McCarthy. Now that I think about going back and watching it now, that is probably the best game from him. I'm just not super enamored, by a guy that can operate in an easy offense. I've seen what Caleb Williams can do in an offense that has no structure, that has no easy looks. I've seen what Drake May can do with a terrible offensive line, like an offensive line that really can fold sometimes, receivers that can't get open. I've seen, he just needs a Blake Corum. So that he can get 28 touchdowns or something crazy. Daniels is out here with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas and an amazing offensive line. He's got guys open on every single play. Michael Penix has Rome Odunze. He catches like 75% of his contested targets, turns a 50-50 ball into a 70-30. I mean, it really is Caleb Williams, Drake May, and everyone else. And so again, my top 5 is Caleb Williams number 1, Drake May number 2. I think Bo Nix probably operates a little bit better in structure than McCarthy does, or at least he did this year. I think Penix is a better talent than both Nix and McCarthy, but the injuries really concern me. And then McCarthy, maybe Rattler. I would be interested in Rattler. Rattler's interesting. I'd be willing to take a shot on Rattler because he was in an awful offense too. Just terrible design. But if the Commanders take Drake May, that would be the smart decision, in my opinion. But I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope this was fun. I'll be back next week doing the same thing with wide receivers. I'll tweet out my top 5 wide receivers beforehand, and then we'll go live, talk about them. And it should be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun today. I hope you all did. And until next time,